Hi everyone, my name is Rachel, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is where I make scrapbooking process videos and also do live scrap and chats every month. I hope you enjoy my little corner of the big crafty world, and if you'd like to watch more, please subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell to always know when I have a new video. If you could also give me a thumbs up, that would be super awesome. Alright everyone, let's start scrapping!
Hey everyone, so I am here with another process video. This is a layout I did during, I was doing a Facebook Zoom, so there's no introduction. I am working on a layout for a challenge for my little scrapbook store, but the challenge has closed at this point, so I'm not going to bother sharing what it's for. But I'm using the Cocoa Vanilla these days, and I do believe Michelle still has this in the shop over at my little scrapbook store. Whatever she does have, I'll link it in the description box below in case anyone is interested. I don't believe I've worked with this line before. I just picked it up not that long ago, and it looks like I've got a full supply of the paper here. So I'm going through, picking a couple that I think I might use, and actually I think I use all of the ones I picked out, so that's unusual. I really love that floral there. I really love this orange piece, but I also, of course, love a good wood grain. These are not the world's best photos. They're pretty close up of my cat Xanthi. She's, the lighting, because there's a bright computer screen behind her, isn't super awesome. So even though I loved that orange paper, that I always call them little wheat thingies, you know, like shafts of wheat. That's what those look like to me. Even though I really wanted to use that, because the photos are so orange, I decided to go with the wood grain as the background instead. I am going to use the orange paper, just not in as great an amount as I originally thought, which was to use it as my background piece. So I didn't have necessarily a plan when I started, but as I was kind of poking through, I thought it would be kind of fun to do vertical columns of different pattern paper. So I trimmed out that orange piece, and on the back of that are these hand-drawn frames, picture frames and stuff like that. So I wasn't measuring or anything. I was just chunking off pieces, and I happened to chunk off the piece I wasn't going to use of the orange, the exact perfect frame, like without cutting anything off. And I'm like, okay, well, karma has decided that I am using this for my journaling spots, because never in a million years will I ever cut that off perfectly again. So I'm fussy cutting that out, and there that is. And I just did a loose fussy cut. I didn't try to get on the line. I just, it's a hand-drawn look anyway, so I just kind of did kind of a loose following around the outer edge of the drawn frame. And now I've got the cut apart sheet, so it's a mix of 3x4s and 12 by 1/2s and 1s and stuff like that. And what I really liked is that aqua tone on tone phrase, cut apart, and it says something about there's no place better than together, or something along those lines. You can read it when I put it on. I just can't read it right now. If you hear that, it is the tap dancing of my dog Sadie. She is telling me it is time to eat dinner. It is in fact not time to eat dinner. Dinner time is not for another 2.5 hours, but she will try. I also cut out 2 of the little flags that are part of the cut apart sheet. That pink one that says hello there, and then another one that's a kind of a black floral. And I liked the play of the light pink with the dark floral. I'm going to layer those over each other. So I was thinking about inking the edges, and I am going to ink the edges, and then I was debating. There are tones of gray in this line. In fact, the frame piece, the outline is in a soft gray, but obviously I'm using a wood grain. There's orange and yellow. So I'm in my head, I'm debating, do I use gray or do I use brown? I decided to go with the gray. I like gray better as a neutral. I find I'm not a super vintagey scrapbooker, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just happens not to necessarily be my aesthetic. So I decided to go with the gray. My normal gray choice is Distress Ink hickory smoke, and I use a little cube. And I'm going ahead, I'm doing the frame, I'm doing the little flags, I'm doing the phrase cut apart, I'm doing all the chunks of vertical columns I'm going to do, and now I've actually finished. Woohoo! So there was a little blip on the side, like a little tear on the side of the wood grain paper, so I just took a tiny little bit of liquid glue and kind of pushed it back down with that, and you cannot tell anymore that there was a little rip. It wasn't a rip through the whole paper, it was kind of like just a little bit of it lifted up, and it came like that. So I don't think anyone would have noticed. It's fine, you cannot tell anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and get my papers glued down. And I had been debating with myself if I wanted all of the papers to go to the top. But when I had been lining them up before, I kind of liked it better where that floral piece over on the left-hand side didn't go all the way to the top. And it's weird. Like, I'm sure it doesn't matter. I'm 100% sure no one is going to notice. But for some reason, like when I had them go all the way to the top, and here you'll see me, I'm like, kind of, do I do it all the way to the top? Do I do how the florals just not go all the way to the top? And I decided I actually did like it better all the way to the top. But it's just one of those things where most likely it really doesn't make a difference. But at the time, it was like an important decision. It was not, in fact, an important decision. It was just me being wackadoo. All right, so I got my photos down. These photos, by the way, are different photos of Xanthi trying to tell me I needed to stop working, and in fact, I needed to pet her. In truth, in fact, I didn't need to be working. Most of the times, what was going on here is I was listening to a webinar or listening to a meeting. Okay, so this one says, time spent together is better. That's what it says. She loves when voices come out of my computer or voices come out of my iPad or my phone. So if I'm watching a YouTube video, quite often she is up against my iPad or cell phone purring because she always likes voices that come out of things. So it's a little bit wackadoo. I've picked 2 alphas. I have the Simple Stories foam color vibe alphas, which are in the style of a thicker. And then I have these Ellie Studio black flat stickers. These are older, but I have like a ton of them. So I definitely wanted to remember to use them. When I finishing my room, which won't be for a little while, I've got a couple things I need to go back to IKEA to pick up. I will do a room tour and I will share what I've done to remind myself to use certain flat alphas that I don't necessarily use all the time. So I'm doing a mix of these 2 alphas, and finally I'm like, am I gonna fast forward? And finally I did. So it's less work, more pets. And I mean pets in the sense of petting your animal, not more animals. I'm like, it makes sense to me. Some people are probably like, what, you want more pets? No. More pets. I probably could have said more pats, but I don't necessarily say I say Xanthi. I say I pet Xanthi. All right, random tangent there. Anyway, it is time to embellish. So I have bought the collection kit for this, which comes with the 6x12 sticker set. I then also picked up the ephemera pieces. And then what I did was I pulled in from Daydream these corduroy, I don't know if they're corduroy or if they're quilted-ish hearts. And so this set came with gold stars, maybe? I don't remember, in the same vein where it's quilted fabric. But I'm like, I have so many of the hearts left. I didn't feel I really needed to go ahead and get another whole package of fabric pieces. So I pulled the hearts in from Daydream. So I'm going through the ephemera pack, seeing what might work. The house works because we're talking about me working from home. I layer that with that floral die cut. Now I've picked out 2 of the butterflies. I actually prefer the shape of the green one, but there's too much green where my title is already. I didn't want to add more. I thought about using that die cut file tab. I decide instead to use the sticker version. I can't read what that says on my little preview screen, but I'm sure you can read it. And then I add a couple more phrase stickers up at the top, or maybe just that one. And then I also layer that blue butter, or aqua butterfly up at the top as well, with the banners. Oh my gosh, I kept wanting to say flags, but really they're banners. And the phrase sticker, and then I'm debating on the whole butterfly thing, but I decided to go with the coral one because, as I said, there was too much green there already because of the alphas. I didn't want to add any more, so I go ahead, add glue to the floral sticker, and then I'm going to actually pop up the house using some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. I don't necessarily have a favorite dimensional. I have different widths of dimensional, and the Stampin' Up! Is very thin, so I like that when I want just a little dimension. I don't want to go full-on dimension. So that's what's nice. They have them, and so do Close to My Heart. Close to My Heart has thin dimensionals as well. So now I have one of my favorite types of embellishments ever, and those are the epoxy topped wood buttons. Dear Lizzie used to do these when she was making stuff for American Crafts, and I think Chamel too, and they are just one of my absolute favorite types of, those and enamel dots are probably my favorite things ever. Now, what's really funny, I do not like buttons that are just regular buttons, because, like, to me, they have to have something in them, and I don't necessarily have a lot of thread. I don't have any thread, to be honest, except some gold thread I use on Christmas cards. So it's just one of those things where if I want to use a button, I then feel I need to add something to the button, and I don't want to add something to the button, and this is how my brain works, and this is why I'm wackadoodle. And that's just apparently is the word of the day, because I've used it 3 times, I believe, in this video. Now I'm amusing myself. So I'm going to go ahead and trim off the piece of butterfly that's hanging off the edge there. You can once again hear Miss Sadie doing her rounds of, it is dinner time. Once again, not yet. I'm going to go ahead and do my journaling. I use my black pen, which is unusual. I thought I'd use my gray pen. Probably went ahead and used my black pen because there's so much black in my photos. And I'm just writing about how much Xanthi would prefer to have me simply sit there and pet her rather than pay attention to the work that is going on the computer screen. I do actually have another layout to do. I debated whether just to include that in this one or to do a separate one, but the story to that is separate. Basically, one time, she hung up on my coworker. Not even joking. Okay, that will be another layout to do. I know my layouts have been Xanthi heavy. I'm trying to work, so when I print a photo, that means I want to make a scrapbooking page about it. So I was going through all the photos I had printed, and I had quite a few of Xanthi that I just had never done, so that's why currently there are a lot of Xanthi layouts coming out. So that is my layout for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you could flick me a thumbs up, that would be super awesome. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye!